Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. When a woman truly understands her value, everything changes. See, a lot of people think love is about chasing, pleasing, and proving. But the real truth is, the moment you stop chasing a man and start choosing yourself, that's when a man starts chasing you. You don't have to beg for love. You don't have to compromise your peace just to be picked. When you carry yourself like the prize, men will line up just for the chance to earn you. Not because you said you're valuable, but because you showed them you are. A self-worth is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. When a woman knows who she is and understands her value, everything about her energy shifts. She no longer seeks validation from anyone because she already validates herself. Her presence becomes powerful, her silence speaks volumes, and her confidence becomes the most attractive thing about her. Men can sense when a woman values herself, and that awareness changes how they treat her. A woman who truly recognizes her worth doesn't chase attention, she commands respect. She doesn't beg for love, she attracts it. The way she carries herself tells the world, I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not afraid to eat alone until the right person joins me. Men are naturally drawn to confidence because it represents stability and strength. A confident woman doesn't need a man to complete her. She wants a man who compliments her. She's not desperate to be chosen because she already chose herself. That's what makes her different from the rest. When you operate from a place of self-worth, you stop accepting less than what you deserve. You stop allowing people to mistreat you, manipulate you, or play games with your emotions. You no longer get caught up in the temporary excitement of being noticed because you've learned to value long-term respect over short-term attention. The energy of self-worth is magnetic. It's not about arrogance or pride. It's about knowing that your peace is priceless. When you respect yourself enough to walk away from people who don't value you, you create space for the ones who will. Men admire a woman who stands firm on her boundaries. They respect a woman who says no when something doesn't align with her worth. That kind of woman doesn't have to demand loyalty. It naturally comes her way because people understand that losing her means losing something rare. Self-worth also changes the way you love. You stop loving from a place of fear or insecurity. You start loving from a place of abundance and choice. You no longer beg for time or attention because you know that real love doesn't have to be begged for. It's freely given. A man can feel that energy. He knows he can't play with your heart because you're not afraid to walk away. You teach him how to treat you by how you treat yourself. And when you make it clear that you are not here to settle for anything less than respect, effort, and honesty, that's when a man starts to rise to meet your standard. When a woman's self-worth is strong, she doesn't need to convince anyone to stay. She becomes the kind of woman that a man wants to fight for, commit to, and protect. Because he knows he's dealing with someone who doesn't come around often. Self-worth makes a woman unforgettable. It's the quiet confidence, the inner peace, and the unshakable belief in herself that makes men not just want her, they beg to marry her. Earners are what separate a woman who gets played from a woman who gets pursued. When you know what you deserve and refuse to settle for anything less, you set the tone for how people approach you. Standards aren't about being demanding or difficult. They're about being clear. They tell the world, this is how I expect to be treated. And anyone who can't meet that expectation simply doesn't get access to you. The moment you stop accepting half effort, mixed signals, and empty promises, you attract people who are willing to give their best. Men don't value what comes easy. They value what requires effort, patience, and consistency. A woman with standards automatically commands that kind of effort because she won't entertain anything less. When you lower your standards just to keep someone, you teach them that you don't believe you're worth more. And once they know that, they'll never rise above the bare minimum. But when you hold your ground, when you say, no, I need honesty, communication, and respect, you separate yourself from every other woman he's met. You become the woman who doesn't tolerate inconsistency or excuses. You become the woman who knows her worth so well that she'd rather be alone than in bad company. That level of self-respect is rare, and that's why it's powerful. Men respect women who make them earn their place. Standards aren't walls, they're filters. They filter out the ones who are just passing time from the ones who are serious about building something real. A man who truly wants you will step up. He'll meet your standards, not because you forced him to, but because he sees your worth and doesn't want to lose you. A man's love grows through the effort he invests, and your standards are what guide that effort. Without them, he doesn't have to try. With them, he's challenged to become better, more disciplined, more intentional. A woman with strong standards doesn't settle for attention. She waits for investment. She doesn't want a man who only shows up when it's convenient. She wants a man who shows up because he chooses to. She doesn't let chemistry blind her to compatibility. She doesn't confuse attraction with alignment. When you hold your standards high, you make it clear that your time, body, and energy are sacred. You stop being an option and start being a priority. And men by nature respect priorities. They fight for them, protect them, and commit to them. When a woman keeps her standards high, she communicates something powerful, that she values herself enough to wait for what's real. And when a man sees that kind of strength, it awakens something inside him. He doesn't see you as another experience. He sees you as the goal. Because in a world full of easy connections and shallow intentions, a woman with standards stands out like a diamond among stones. She becomes the kind of woman he won't just date. She's the kind of woman he'll beg to marry. The mystery comes from purpose. It's the quiet strength of a woman who knows who she is and where she's going that makes her unforgettable. When a woman lives with purpose, she doesn't need to chase anyone because she's already chasing something bigger. Her goals, her peace, her growth, her happiness. That kind of focus is magnetic. Men are drawn to women who move with intention, who have direction in their lives, who don't make a man the center of their world, but invite him to be a part of it. Purpose gives you presence, and presence makes you powerful. A woman with purpose doesn't talk too much about what she's doing. She just does it. She lets her actions speak, and that quiet confidence makes a man lean in, curious to know more about her. History isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about having depth. It's about having layers that a man wants to uncover over time. A woman with purpose doesn't reveal everything at once because she's not seeking approval. She's living her truth. She's not trying to impress anyone. She's already impressed with herself because she's proud of the life she's building. Men notice that. They feel the difference between a woman who's waiting for love to define her and a woman who's already defined by her passion and purpose. That difference is what keeps them intrigued. When you live with purpose, you naturally attract people who respect your mission. You attract men who admire your drive, not those who want to distract you from it. A purposeful woman doesn't waste her time in relationships that don't align with her goals. She understands that her time is valuable and her peace is sacred. That's what makes her so captivating. She becomes the kind of woman a man wants to stand beside, not control. He doesn't want to dim her light. He wants to shine with her because he can see she's not just existing, she's evolving. Purpose makes a woman glow differently. She doesn't depend on validation or approval because her fulfillment comes from within. Her happiness isn't based on who texts her back or who gives her attention. It's built on the satisfaction of knowing she's walking in her truth. And that energy, focused, grounded, and at peace, is rare. When a man meets a woman like that, he can't forget her. He can't replace her. She lingers in his mind because she's not just beautiful, she's meaningful. She's not waiting for someone to rescue her. She's already saving herself. A woman with purpose is never desperate for love. She knows that the right love will find her while she's busy fulfilling her destiny. And when a man realizes that she doesn't need him, but chooses him, it humbles him. It makes him want to rise to her level, to earn her trust, to deserve her. Because a woman who lives with purpose doesn't just capture a man's attention, she captures his soul. She becomes the kind of woman he prays for, the kind of woman he's willing to beg to marry. Boundaries are one of the strongest signs of self-respect, and they are what make a woman truly stand out. When you have boundaries, you communicate to the world that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable. You're not cold, you're clear, you're not distant, you're disciplined. You don't allow just anyone to have access to you because you understand that not everyone deserves it. Boundaries aren't walls that block love. They are doors that open only for the right kind of love. And that's exactly what makes men respect and desire you more. A woman with boundaries teaches a man how to treat her without ever raising her voice or begging for attention. She does it through her actions. When you have strong boundaries, you don't allow inconsistency, dishonesty, or emotional games into your life. You don't chase after someone who's unsure about you because you know your peace matters more than confusion. You understand that walking away doesn't mean losing. It means protecting your value. The moment you start enforcing boundaries, you'll notice how people respond. The ones who truly care will step up, while the ones who just wanted to take advantage will disappear. And that's exactly how you separate real connections from temporary distraction. Boundaries also make love more meaningful. When you don't give everything away too soon, your time, your energy, your affection, you make a man earn the privilege of your closeness. You create an emotional space where respect and effort are required before intimacy. That makes a man more intentional with you. He starts thinking about how to show up right, how to communicate better, how to prove that he's worth staying for. For a woman who holds her boundaries inspires better behavior because she won't settle for less than consistency and effort. She doesn't need to argue about what she deserves. She simply refuses to accept anything beneath it. A man values a woman who values herself. When he realizes you won't allow disrespect, he begins to rise to the standard you've set. He becomes more attentive, more serious, and more careful with your heart. And even if at first he doesn't fully understand your boundaries, he'll come to appreciate them, because boundaries create security. They make him feel like he's dealing with a woman of integrity, a woman who knows her worth, and a woman who isn't afraid to say no when something doesn't serve her well. The truth is, boundaries protect your energy, your peace, and your power. They remind you that love should feel safe, not draining. When you enforce them, you create a life that only the right kind of man can enter. A man who's mature enough to respect your space, patient enough to earn your trust, and wise enough to understand that you are not someone to play with. That's the kind of woman who doesn't chase men. They chase her. They value her, and in the end, they beg for the chance to marry her. Effort equals value. What people work for, they treasure. What comes easy, they take for granted. The same rule applies in love. When a man has to put in real effort to win a woman's heart, that relationship means something to him. He's invested, he's committed, he's connected. But when everything is handed to him without any challenge, without any boundaries, he won't see the need to protect it. A woman who understands this truth never allows herself to be easily earned. She knows that her love, her time, and her attention are privileges, not entitlements. She doesn't give a man everything just because he shows interest. She makes him prove consistency, effort, and respect, because she knows that the things earned through effort are the ones kept with loyalty. When you make a man work for your love, you're not playing games. You're teaching him how to value it. You're showing him that your heart is not something to be taken lightly. Men respect the process of pursuit. They like a challenge that has meaning. It awakens their nature to protect, to prove, and to provide. But when a woman gives too much too soon, she removes that drive. She eliminates the very thing that makes a man want to earn her. Love becomes one-sided and effort fades. But when you keep your standards high and expect him to meet them, something shifts. He starts seeing you as rare, as worth fighting for, as someone he can't replace. Effort is what builds emotional connection. When a man invests time, patience, and energy into you, he's building attachment without even realizing it. Every text he sends, every plan he makes, every thoughtful gesture, those are emotional deposits. And the more he deposits, the more invested he becomes. That's why women who understand the power of effort never rush relationships. They allow time to reveal who a man really is. They let him show his intentions through his actions. Words are easy, but effort speaks louder. When he consistently shows up, follows through, and proves that he means what he says, that's when you can trust his heart. Effort also creates respect. A man will never disrespect what he had to earn. He'll think twice before lying, cheating, or losing something he worked hard to have. Because when he's put effort into building with you, he has something to lose. He knows he can easily replace the woman who made him grow, who made him show up, who made him better. That kind of connection stays with him, even when times get hard. A woman who requires effort is a woman who inspires commitment. She doesn't accept half-hearted love or empty promises. She gives her energy only to those who show they deserve it. And that's exactly what makes her unforgettable. A man may meet many women in his life, but the one he had to earn, the one who challenged him to become his best self, that's the one he'll never let go. That's the woman he'll beg to marry. When you stop chasing love, real love begins to chase you. The moment you stop trying to prove your worth to someone, you start attracting the kind of person who can already